Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be about the unsung heroes of the game. That's right, the red, green, blue characters. I actually think that these characters that I'm about to name here are just as good, if not better, than most of the LDs in this game. Now, the thing is this does not include the Power 5, okay? So, Light Twin, Dark Twin, Vengeful Hassle, Desdemona, Oderic. Sorry, these red, green, blue characters are not as good as these heroes. Some of them aren't as good as the other heroes as well in the Light and Dark legendary faction, like Divine Yolanda, Shark Solandre, although he's taken a hit recently. Doomweaver Valyria, and maybe even Adeline, but I would say they're on par. I think they can compete, and you should pick them over some of these heroes sometimes. So let's just talk about those heroes, the ones that I'm talking about. And, surprise, there are two epics on this list that I think also fall in line with these heroes. So, the very first one is Joskasta. I think Joskasta is drastically overlooked. She has a very unique trait. She's the only person who has it in the entire game, and it's becoming more and more relevant as the game comes out. She's got this fancy word here, attenuates all negative effects on teammates by one turn. All that means is reduces the amount of time that the negative effect is on them. So if it's on them for 3 turns, whenever she goes, she will then reduce that by 1 turn. This is one of the few effects in the entire game that can reduce or, get rid of effects that aren't resisted or can't be removed. Most notably, you have Desdemona, who has her little puppet thing. It can't be removed, but it's only on someone for 1 turn. So if you have Joskasta in your team and she goes, it's going to automatically remove the nightmare or the little puppet thing. On top of that, Adeline has this 2-turn effect where it's energy reversal, right? So it's on your team for 2 turns where they can't do any damage, and if they try and heal themselves, they'll deal damage to themselves. It's an amazing trait. It should not be overlooked. On top of that, she does have defense up and immune to somebody that can be really relevant, especially because Joskasta is one of the faster heroes in the game. She can have some pretty nice speed. You can build her very fast and utilize that immune ability. I wouldn't say that's as strong as it used to be in the past, but it is still something to not be overlooked. And then, of course, she removes 1 negative effect from everybody, puts up invincible and heal over time. It's a very nice ultimate ability. Also, with the new sets coming out, with the ability to increase her max health, which also helps out her healing abilities, I think she's only going to get stronger. But she is definitely a red, green, blue hero that I think is on par with most LDs, and she can definitely be picked over some of the LDs as well. So do not overlook her. Rick, I think, is a standout character, although he does need a lot of investment. He definitely needs to be Ascended 5, because that's where a lot of his damage can come in. But this guy starts the round with stealth. There are a lot of heroes in this game that are snipers, single target snipers. You can get rid of the stealth ability if you have an AoE hero. As soon as he's hit, the stealth will then disappear. But like I said, there's not a whole lot of those in the meta. On top of that, whenever he's A5, his damage dealt is increased by 30% whenever he's in the stealth state. So just a boost to damage is insane. And then he has an ultimate ability that ignores 80% of the target's defense. On top of that, 30% additional damage if he's in stealth. He also gives himself 50% accuracy. So that means that, things can't be dodged. I'm pretty sure it helps with some type of precision. I don't have any way to correlate that, but it's rare to see him miss, even if he does have some lower precision. But either way, this skill is absolutely amazing. And then on top of that, if you actually don't kill the character, he will counterattack the character, whoever has that Mark of Doom, and then this will reset. So he is an amazing red, green, blue sniper who is really hard to target. He should also not be overlooked. So there is an honorable mention here. I do think Elise is really, really strong. She's pretty fast, and she has this ability to just take someone out of the game for two rounds, which I think should not be overlooked. She is not someone that I have on the list, but she is really darn close. I think there's just too many strong red characters in the game right now, but there's definitely times where you can pick her and she can take over the game. So we've got Joskasta, we've got Rick, and then Cordelia. So Cordelia, they made a character who's on this list basically to counter this hero. And she does counter her very well. But Cordelia, if you let Cordelia through and you don't have any kind of counter to her, whether that be Karma, Royce, or the other LD, Light Dark Epic, like Kelowna. If you let the Cordelia through and you don't have any of those three heroes, and you have someone with buffs, like this hero is going to take over the game. This morph ability, it is such a crazy debuff. Just eliminating skills is absolutely nuts, and also zero defense. So she's one of the few characters that can actually counter Oderic. Like, you need some red, green, blue heroes in the game that can counter really crazy LDs. So she is a top tier red, green, blue character. I'm really excited about the upcoming banner because I'm hoping I can pull her because I think she's that good. So in the green section, your three heroes that should not be overlooked are definitely Joskasta, Rick, and Cordelia. They are fantastic heroes, and they are, at most times, a better pick than an LD. Oh, man, and of course, I forgot Jerome. I should not have forgotten Jerome. Jerome, again, just an amazing hero. He's one of the heroes that I just did a hero review on. He can one-shot any kind of defensive tank, like even without books. This sharpened edge ability is actually really cool. I think it's kind of cool design. But even without that, he has the ability to one-shot some pretty strong tanks like Shark Solandre or whatever. He can also one-shot, really strong fire heroes like Alicia. So Jerome is the other green character that I think is right on par with most LDs. Okay, moving into fire. Ralph. Ralph is definitely a red, green, blue hero that I think is extremely strong. Now, he, again, is similar to Cordelia, where he's had kind of a check to him in Karma. He can no longer do his AoE taunt if Karma got through in RTA, because she will counterattack him twice and put him down into his shield, and then give her a bunch of bonus turns. So that's never a good thing. But again, if you don't have somebody to check Ralph and he gets through, he just mitigates so much damage. Now, there are some counters to him, but again, if you pick him at the right time, it's kind of just game over. So he has had a couple of people that now counter him, which I think was needed. I mean, he was way too overpowered when he first came out. So now that the game has introduced some heroes, that have helped check him, I think is a good thing for the game. So next we have the recently released Karma. This hero is absolutely amazing. I am really, really impressed with her. This counterattack is absolutely nuts. If she ever gets this off, it's not only doing a lot of damage, but giving yourself an additional max health up stack to make sure the ultimate does maximum damage. This ultimate ability hits so hard. It's amazing how hard it hits. You can one-shot heroes, that aren't crowd control heroes. Just with the ignore 60% of their defense, it's a really hard-hitting skill. I will say the downside is the basic ability just really doesn't do anything. But her trait is very good, granting bonus turns, and then the ability immunity, pretty strong. The counterattack, and then on top of that, the ultimate, just doing a crazy amount of damage, is really strong. She counters a lot of heroes that used to be a problem in the meta, and they still are, because most of the time, people will just ban Karma, and if you don't have another counter to those heroes or ban them, you kind of lose. So Ralph and Karma, definitely top tier. And then also in the red section is Alicia. This hero has just been amazing ever since she's come out. I think she has gotten even stronger recently. With the addition of Adeline, she is a direct counter to her. So, very strong hero here for sure. The unhealable on the ultimate, and then anytime there's a support ability cast for her to counterattack is very, very strong. She continues to be a beast in the meta, and she's definitely a really good pick over most LDs. Honorable mention here, though, is Rosalie. Rosalie has, again, moved up kind of in power level because of the heroes that they've been introducing that are strong in the meta. All three of these heroes that I just mentioned, she is extremely strong against them. Very good against Ralph, very good against Karma, very good against Alicia. So do not sleep on Rosalie. She is more of a counter pick if somebody is using, one of the aforementioned red or green legendaries. She can one-shot almost all of them, but she does need to be picked at the right time. So I don't think she's as good as LDs, where a lot of these heroes can be picked without any kind of, they can be first pickable. So that's who we have in the red. And again, guys, if this is just my opinion, so if you have any heroes that I'm kind of missing or you think I've overshadowed, let me know in the comments below. But these are the ones that I've kind of outlined as just crazy, crazy good. So in the water section, I think this is maybe one of the more controversial picks, but I do think Halia is still a top tier red, green, blue hero. Along with the damage amplification that she has from this Ocean Lights ability, that is very strong. Bonus turns, again, if they don't have some kind of Cordelia or way to mess with this, special ability to grant a bonus turn is very, very strong. This ultimate ability really isn't utilized that much anymore, just because negative effects are kind of something that are frowned upon in the meta, but there are times where the ultimate ability still comes in handy to increase the damage from Ocean Lights, but she's mainly used for her extreme high speed and then granting someone an instant bonus turn. Very, very strong hero. I really don't think she's utilized enough, but I really, really like her. Some honorable mentions here as well. Atara. I think Atara is still really strong. You still see her in a lot of high-end RTA. I think people who use her much. They're much better at using her than I am, and they utilize the ultimate ability, at its maximum. Usually, whenever someone is dead already, to get full potential out of the true damage. She does have some counters, with Jerome. I think she's kind of weak against SSA, things like that. But I still think she is a great hero. She does really good damage, so she's an offensive threat while also increasing the survivability of your team. I wouldn't say that she's as good as a red, green, blue hero just because she has a lot more counters than most of the LDs. But she is an honorable mention for sure. And then last but not least from an honorable mention is Naya. I'm planning on building this hero. I think this hero is completely undervalued and underlooked. Any hero that I've seen that can't critical strike and then also ignores defense, like take Jerome and Alicia, for example, they're crazy good heroes. And there's a lot of really strong tank units in the game that utilize the guard set on them, which is, the shield ability, where this special ability will come in, steal the shield, and immediately counterattack. It's really strong. So I have a lot of high hopes for Naya. Anyone that I know who has Naya has said that that she is very good. So I will give her an honorable mention. This may be a miss. She could be in line with someone like Alicia or Halia or Jerome or whatever. and could be as good of a pick from an LD perspective. So those are the legendaries. Now for the epics, I think there are two epics. One I'm sure everyone knows, and then the other one I think has really hit their stride lately. And I do have some honorable mentions. The main one obviously is Bocce. I do think Bocce is more of a niche pick. His speed holds him back, which is a good thing because his trait is absolutely busted. So you do need some kind of balance. Ignoring the defense is nuts. But if he's ascended A5, Bocce can survive an ultimate from a Divine Yolanda, even if he's got lower health, because of the damage reduction too. So that's very strong. But Bocce can definitely just take over games if he gets through and you're going up against a tankier meta, for sure. So an honorable mention is definitely Onamaros. Onamaros can, again, take over the game if he goes unchecked, if you don't have any kind of cleanse or anything like that. His AoE freeze to then do a bunch of max health damage turn after turn and then continuing to freeze people or stun them is something that can really get out of control. He does have some checks now, with Karma, with SSA. Joskasta is very good against him. So things like that. But again, if he goes unchecked, he's pretty strong, but I would not be first picking him. Kyle is another honorable mention that I want to talk about. So he's always been kind of good at stealing opposing Halias. He's always been good at stealing opposing Divine Yolandas. And now he's got a really good target in Adeline, the new Light Dark legendary that just came out. I've played against someone who's used Kyle and has morphed into Adeline and used her ultimate ability twice. So very strong ultimate in Kyle. He's very fast. The one thing that is working against him is his glyphs. He had the potential to be one of the fastest heroes in the game, but the devs kind of messed that up. Whether that was intentional or not, I don't know. So that's water. And then the fire hero that I want to talk about is definitely Fire Melisa. This hero is one of the OGs, but she had one of the most busted traits, and she just continues to kind of scale well with the game. She has that Vanguard ability, which just increases her damage a lot on the first turn, as well as being the fastest hero in the game. She can outspeed anybody. And a lot of times, whenever you're fighting someone, speed is king. So one of the combos that I've liked to do is use Fire Melisa to tick down somebody really low because she'll always go first. And then if somebody lets her through, Divine Yolanda can come in and kind of clean up somebody with balancing the HPs of the two and then dealing the damage. It's kind of a nice combo that I like. So Fire Melisa, again, one like an actual epic that I think you can pick over most LDs. It's going to depend on the matchup and all that stuff. People are going to call me crazy, but there are a lot of times where I see people, going full speed or whatever, and a Fire Melisa just throws a wrench in the plan, which is kind of cool. From a wood perspective, an epic, because it's one of the few that I haven't mentioned, a lot of these heroes, they're not really viable in the meta. Baron used to be pretty good. I have used Orchi from time to time to go up against like Light Nyx or something like that, but I think there's better counters out there. So in the wood epic section, there's really nobody in my opinion. But that's the list, guys. I just wanted to bring that to you, kind of a discussion video today. Take a break from, character reviews or free-to-play series and just bring out a discussion video. So hope you enjoyed, and let me know your comments below. All right? Well, I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.